Now, from Wish TV, your local news source, this is All Indiana Politics.
Take a look at what happened.
For the second time in U.S. history, a former president on the campaign trail narrowly survives a would-be assassin's bullet. Good morning and welcome to All Indiana Politics. I'm Garrett Bergquist. Former President Donald Trump is recovering after a shooter opened fire on him at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The shooting left a rally-goer dead and two more in critical condition. CNN's Michael Yoshida lays out what we know at this hour.
Chaos erupting at a campaign rally for former President Donald Trump Saturday evening in Butler, Pennsylvania. Gunshots heard ringing out, the former president dropping to the ground. Moments later, video shows Secret Service agents swarming and lifting up Trump, his face bloodied. Trump then pumping his fist and shouting "fight" to the crowd to show he's okay as he's rushed away. The FBI calling the incident
an assassination attempt against our former president, Donald Trump.
The Secret Service killing the suspected shooter, who the FBI has identified as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Law enforcement says he was positioned on a building rooftop just outside the rally. Eyewitnesses describing the scene.
It's very shocking. It's just, I think a lot of people in the crowd just thought it was fireworks going off. I knew immediately it was gunshots.
All we know was shots were fired, and then I jumped over the barrier and put my hand on the guy's head that was.
A Secret Service spokesperson saying this is an active investigation. Early Sunday morning, video posted to X by the Trump campaign showing the former president deplaning in Newark, New Jersey. President Joe Biden did speak with Trump after the shooting, saying he's grateful he's safe and denounced the violence in Saturday night remarks.
There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick.
Reporting in Butler, Pennsylvania, I'm Michael Yoshida.
And Indiana political figures began to weigh in within moments of the shooting, including people at the Indiana Democratic Party convention. Moments after word broke former President Donald Trump had been injured, Congressman Jim Banks said, praying for President Trump and everyone in Pennsylvania. Trump's former vice president, former Indiana Governor Mike Pence, said, Karen and I are praying for President Trump and urge every American to join us. Senator Todd Young wasn't far behind. He said, a terrifying scene at President Trump's event this afternoon, praying that he and all in attendance are okay and that calm will prevail. Violence is never the answer. Democrats weighed in as well. The shooting happened while delegates to the Indiana Democratic Party convention were casting their ballots.
There is no room for political violence. There's no room for violence in political discourse on any side. So, it's unfortunate it happened. We'll wait to see the details and we'll go from there. But, we're just, there's just other ways to handle disagreement, and it's not through violence.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, that is a huge historical event, and I hope that we can get down to the bottom of it because we need good national security. That's so important to me, regardless of party.
Congressman Andre Carson, who used to work in Indiana's Homeland Security Fusion Center, says political violence is never the answer. I'm glad to hear former President Trump appears to be doing well. We cannot let this incite violence on any side. And for more on this, let's bring... Is this a warning that the tenor of our nation's politics has gone too far?
Way too far, but we've seen it before in our history. And we understand that, unfortunately, emotions get high and, people have feelings about, policies that are being written. But taking violent acts against someone you disagree with is incredibly morally wrong. We have to be better humans to each other. We have to see each other with compassion. So yes, I do 100% believe that if this is a step way too far, I don't want to see anyone shot or hurt because of their political position.
On this as well, tell me also, Let's respond to that, but then also going forward, how should individual politicians address this issue?
Obviously, they have to take care to make sure that their personal and their families are safe when they're out in public spaces. But they can't be afraid to go out and talk to the American people. We cannot use this incident as a way to terrorize us into not talking to the people. This is a citizen government. We can't be afraid of each other. So I think they need to make sure that they have their security teams in place. They need to make sure they have the people who are watching their backs. They need to, do the pre-work of making sure that everything is squared away whatever venue they're going to, and have a backup plan. But they still have to be out talking to the American people, because it's those folks who we serve as politicians. And again, history has shown us that this has happened in the past. Let us learn from our history so that we can do better in the future.
Tom, I apologize. It sounds like we were having some signal issues earlier. I want to bring you in on this as well. Tell me a little bit about how you believe individual politicians moving forward should try to bring down the temperature here.
Well, I think the crux of this is we need to not make it personal. We need to talk about our country's problems. We need to talk about our differences in philosophy and policy. But when we talk about a person being an existential risk, whether it's President Biden, whether it's President Trump or somebody else, you begin to make the environment such that people who, I have zero doubt, I don't know anything about the shooter yet, really, but I am sure he was a troubled and probably unstable young man, that this environment empowered him to feel like he was doing the right thing. And that's really the history. You look at the shooters throughout history of presidents, the people who have tried different assassinations over time, they're almost uniformly people who are very disturbed. But this environment gives them license to go out and feel like they're doing the right thing. And that's what we really need to step back and say, let's talk about policy, not people, and not making people out to be evil.
Tom, former President Donald Trump tends to thrive on these large, particularly open-air rallies. At least in the near term, might this lead to the end of these open-air rallies?
I mean, I don't think they're going to end. I think, honestly, one of the things that came to this is that our president has had some problems in recent weeks that have called into question his fitness. I think you're going to see President Trump, in an extension of what really happened last night, try to lean into his ability to be a leader and his ability to be cool under pressure. And I think you're going to see the Secret Service having a huge job to do, but I don't see the open air rallies going away.
Dana, how concerned are you about retaliatory violence after this, particularly against Democratic candidates?
I am deeply concerned. I am deeply concerned because we have already seen from the January 6th actions of the MAGA movement that side is not above or below resorting to violence. We've already seen it. And they are very passionate about their candidate. And the fact that someone took a pot shot at him is going to enrage them. And again, we have already seen, it's not speculative. We know what the MAGA movement is capable of. So I am incredibly concerned about retaliatory activities.
Tom,
I would say violence isn't constrained to one side. And the reality is it is incumbent upon Republicans to make it clear nobody should think about doing such a thing to a Democrat, whether it be President Biden or someone else. But I mean, to say one side or another is more, the fact is we all need to come together and just simply say, let's talk about the issues.
We will go ahead and leave it there. Tom and Dana, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We will be back in a moment. Welcome back. Indiana Democrats have picked their nominees for Attorney General and Lieutenant Governor. Delegates made their choices at Saturday's state party convention. Destiny Wells won the Attorney General nomination. She's a former Deputy Attorney General and was the 2022 Democratic candidate for Secretary of State. She will face incumbent Republican Todd Rokita in November. They're the only two candidates in that race. Terry Goodin easily overcame 3 challengers to become Jennifer McCormick's running mate. He served for 20 years in the State House of Representatives and now is the nominee for Lieutenant Governor. Here's what both of them had to say after they secured their nominations.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you to one of my new statewide ticket running mates, LG candidate Goodin. Sounds good. And like I said, I always look forward to being, one of my first clients will be our next governor, Jennifer McCormick. The military taught me well, be bold, be brief, be gone. So let's get this show on the road. It is my honor to continue this journey to the AG's office alongside each and every one of you, including those who went home early. It's up to each of us now. We must bring ourselves to carry the torch that Senator Hundley mentioned. I, too, am here thanks to the women who came before me. I, too, stand on the shoulders and wait to lift others to the same heights. It is because of the legacy of women who have served, especially one who made sure she sat down with me for 2 hours when I first was interested in running for office and always made herself available, a shining example of what women should do when they uplift the others around you, and that is the late Senator Jean Breaux, my friend. So thank you, Hoosier Democrats. I move forward thanks to and because of and you. So onward together. Let's go.
And you can bet your bottom dollar I'm looking forward to running as Lieutenant Governor candidate of the great state of Indiana. Folks, those in charge of our state want you to think that everything's just okay in Indiana. It's all right. That things are we're getting along, okay? Well, I'm telling you folks here right now, today, that just getting along is not good enough for the great state of Indiana. Indiana can do better, folks. And that starts by recognizing that our public schools are the most important part of a successful democracy. Folks, a better education is the largest rung on the socio-economic ladder, and a world-class education begins with universal pre-K. Folks, I contend, and I challenge anyone to say nay. The greatest American invention of all times is the free public education. Now, folks, we know the Democrat Party is the party of common sense, the party of compassion, and the party of hope. The Democratic Party wants to make life better tomorrow than it is today. Being the party of common sense and compassion means standing up for working Hoosiers by demanding that corporations pay a living wage to the people they hire.
Coming up, we'll introduce you to a Hoosier who will play a critical role in this week's Republican National Convention. Welcome back. A Hoosier will play a key role in this week's Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Former Indiana Republican Party Chair Anne Hathaway is in charge of the committee organizing the National Convention. You might recall she ran the Indiana Republican Party through last month's state convention. She talked to our Phil Sanchez about the experience of running the big show.
Joining us now from Milwaukee, former Indiana Republican Party Chair Anne Hathaway. She's currently the chair of the committee organizing the convention. Madam Chair, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
What has it been like getting the convention ready to begin on Monday, Anne?
It's been crazy. I've actually been making the trek from Indiana to Milwaukee for about a year and a half, coming regularly. We have a phenomenal team on the ground who've been planning this convention, and we're small and we are mighty, but we've been growing with interns, with volunteers, and we're ready to put on a 4-day live TV show next week.
Yeah. How did it feel to get the nod to do this?
It was an honor, a true honor of a lifetime. I had chaired the site selection committee for that picked Milwaukee as the convention site. So when Chairman McDaniel asked me to do this, I was honored, thrilled, and excited to do it. This is my 9th convention. I've served in multiple different roles. I've been a delegate, an alternate, a staffer. I was the program director for the convention in 2012. So the opportunity to be the chairman of the Committee on Arrangements is quite an honor.
Yeah, quite the resume, and no doubt about that. To the politics of it all now, former President Trump, as you know, consistently has a narrow lead in the real clear politics average, but he hasn't been able to break out of the margin of error. So how concerned are you about that?
I'm not concerned. I believe this convention will continue to grow the margin as we look towards November and a victory on November 5th. There's a lot of excitement for the president and his message, a lot of enthusiasm as we wait for the vice presidential nominee to be named. And I think that this convention will create all kinds of energy, excitement, so that we can turn out our votes and make sure we win in November.
You know, and Trump has not explicitly said whether he would accept the election results. Will the Republican Party accept the results of the 2024 election, even if Trump loses?
We're focused on winning on November 5th.
Fair enough. Why was the 2024 Republican Party platform approved ahead of the convention behind closed doors?
The Republican Party platform is always confirmed by members from the 50 states, the 5 territories, and the District of Columbia during committee week, which is the week we've been through. It's a great platform. The president has been very involved in it. It is a pro-America platform, and it's going to be a wonderful roadmap for the Trump administration, as well as the House and Senate when we win majorities in the fall.
If Democrats replace President Joe Biden at the top of the ticket, how does that affect Republican strategy going into November?
Well, obviously, strategy is always changed when we have the candidates. That being said, the Republican Party, Donald Trump's campaign, we're focused on being on offense. We're focused on sharing our message. That's what this convention's all about, is making sure that we take our message to every corner of the United States. In addition, we're going to work on our grassroots, our volunteers, and making sure that we're talking neighbor to neighbor, friend to friend, and that everyone turns out to vote, because we believe that Donald Trump is important for the future of our country and actually the world.
And one more question about the platform. What role did Project 2025 play in that?
I've been focused on the infrastructure of the campaign of the convention. I did not attend the platform committee meetings, so I can't speak to that. I would refer that to the Republican National Committee. I've just been focused on the convention.
Well, to your point, to the convention, why are national party conventions important in the era of primaries?
Well, the convention is important because this is where we formally nominate our nominee, that we bring 5,000 delegates together. We'll have 50,000 guests here. We anticipate over 30,000 credentialed media here to cover this. Obviously, it's an opportunity to build enthusiasm, energy, and also to share our message. The people are focused, are going to be paying attention. I think they'll tune in every day next week, and that's important for us as we put all the tools together to win in November.
And we know you're very busy. We thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to talk with us. Thank you so much, and have a good week.
Thanks so much.
And thank you for joining us for All Indiana Politics. We'll be back here next Sunday morning at 9:30. And be sure to tune in at 11 for The Hill Sunday with Chris Steyerwalt. Have a great rest of your weekend.